Speaking of Wade, he had a taped sit-down interview with Kyle O'Reilly, asking him about his loss last week to Adam Cole, and sure enough, this feud must continue, which we knew. His attitude about the loss was basically, well, losses are part of the business. Spoken like a true loser. He said he didn't have the killer instinct that he needed to win, but one of these days, he and Cole are going to meet again, and he will be the man, not to beat Adam Cole, but to finish Adam Cole. And Cole later had an in-ring promo where he mocked O'Reilly for losing and said Kyle's win over him was unsanctioned, so that doesn't count from their first match, which is true. It should not count. That's why Britt Baker is the AEW Women's Champion right now and not Thunder Rosa. Because Thunder Rosa's win over her was in an unsanctioned match. See, Cole is learning. He is learning from his better half. But I have a theory about where all of this... I have an Austin theory here about where this all may be heading. I'm going to wait until the end, though, to say what it is. But Cole called out Samoa Joe. He got Bronson Reed instead. He said he no longer has his NXT North American Championship, and therefore he no longer has anything to lose. I mean, that's one way to look at it, I guess. If you lose your championship, well, I've got nothing to lose. Cole went to go super kick him, but he caught his foot. Reed went for a lariat, Cole ducked it, and then he got run over by Reed, like running into a brick wall, and Adam Cole bailed. And out comes Samoa Joe in his referee shirt for the main event. Johnny Gargano against Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. Joe called it right down the middle. There was lots of tension between him and Kross during the match, really throughout the entire show, not just the match. Kross had his cross jacket sleeper on Gargano, who got a rope break. Kross refused to break the hold. And Joe violently pulled off Kross, pulled him off of Gargano. They got face to face, but Kross walked away. So then he grabbed Gargano by the throat. He starts slamming him into the barricade, into the plexiglass on the outside. Kross picked up the ring steps. He was going to use them as a weapon, and Joe grabbed the steps away from him, which allowed Gargano to DDT Karrion Kross on the floor. Gargano nailed his one final beat DDT. Kross kicked out. And then Kross powerbombed Gargano 3 times, hit a Saito suplex, and he clubbed Johnny right in the back of the head with a forearm strike, and Joe counted the 3. So Karrion Kross retains the NXT Championship. He and Joe have yet another stare down, and when Joe turns to go walk away and leave, Karrion Kross grabs Samoa Joe and chokes him out. And he is screaming the whole time, "You brought this on yourself, Joe. You did this. You brought this on yourself." Now, my first thought was, this is great. Joe must be cleared. He's getting physical. Look at this. He didn't take a bump, but he's in there getting physical. They're blatantly teasing something with him and Kross. Clearly, he is okay to wrestle. It's going to be Joe now challenging Karrion Kross for the championship at Takeover. And I think if Samoa Joe is cleared, he is totally wrestling Karrion Kross, right? That seems pretty obvious. But we don't know that Joe is cleared. It's possible he is, and they have kept it a secret, but we don't know that he's cleared. And the more I think about it, and what Kyle O'Reilly said about Adam Cole and them preparing for one final match, Kross, we know he's been wrestling matches on main event and dark matches. He's preparing for a move to the main roster soon. I think it's actually more likely that Samoa Joe is not yet cleared, and Karrion Kross attacking him is going to be their way of stripping Karrion Kross of the NXT Championship and getting that belt off of him without having to actually beat him for it. I'd much rather see him in a match, but look at what they did here. He attacked an NXT official. You can't do that. If Joe isn't cleared, Kross gets stripped, possibly expelled from NXT, which means the NXT Championship is held in abeyance. Remember, WWE loved that expression a few years ago. The title is in abeyance. That was their favorite word when the title was vacant. And I think the third and final Adam Cole-Kyle O'Reilly match is contested at TakeOver then to crown a new NXT champion. with Kyle O'Reilly getting the big win. The big babyface win. He finally wins the big one. After all the times he failed, because he had 2 or 3 different opportunities against Finn Balor. He lost them all. So this could be his big moment that they're setting up for. I am personally not a fan of Kyle O'Reilly as the NXT champion, but people like him. I don't hate the guy. I just don't see him as somebody who should be in that role as the NXT champion. But again, people like him, and it would be a nice moment to close out that show with him getting the conquering win over Adam Cole and having something tangible to show for it. That's where I think this is leading. We'll know this week because, Tuesday they're going to go on the air, and if there's no punishment for Karrion Kross, if he's not stripped this week, then obviously it's building to a match of some kind. By the way, the July 27th and August 3rd episodes of NXT back-to-back weeks will not be airing on USA Network. They are being bounced for beach volleyball and table tennis. And they're going to air in their usual 8 p.m. slot, but it'll be on Sci-Fi Network instead. So you have the fan-free Tokyo Olympics to thank for that.